been to Pretoria, from Harare to Nairobi, from Mombasa to Cairo, from Accra to Algiers, Yamoussoukro to Lomé, wherever you are in Africa, you are connected to Diaspora-Connect on AAU TV. AAU TV is the voice of higher education in Africa. This program, Diaspora-Connect, is dedicated to identifying what the African diaspora are giving to Africa, especially its institution of higher education. And today, we are in Accra, Ghana, where we have identified an academic don who has just returned from the United States of America to come and lecture and also contribute into building the resources of a technical university here in Ghana. Follow this discussion on all our social media handles. You can go to YouTube, you can go to Facebook, or you go to our dedicated website, tv.aau.org. Before I introduce the guest for the show, let's go for a short break.
We are from 47 counties of Kenya.
From all over East Africa.
From different cultures and heritage.
From different religious beliefs. To this amazing place called Awuah University.
At Awuah University, we learn.
We serve in knowledge and innovation.
And by the time we leave to go into the world.
We are ready.
We are ready.
We are ready.
We are ready.
We are ready. Ready to work.
Ready to share the knowledge.
We are part of something amazing.
A light into the world.
We are a community.
A community of purpose.
So come and join our journey.
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 Welcome back to Diaspora-Connect on AAU TV, the voice of higher education in Africa. Before we went on break, I had said that the program is dedicated to identifying what the African diaspora is giving back to Africa. And I have with me an academic don who is in the person of Professor Robert Awuah Baffour.
That's correct.
Prof, welcome to AAU TV.
Thank you.
Yes, you look very young. Even though you're gray.
See my gray hair?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's telling me that you are more than 50.
I'm 50. I'll be 58 this month.
You'll be 58 this month. Congratulations.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay. You are a diasporan.
Yes.
How long have you been away from your country?
Well, it's been an on and off journey, but I've been out of the country for about 30 years now.
30?
Yeah.
Okay. Originally, where are you from?
I'm from Ghana here.
You are from Ghana?
In terms of, yeah, Ghana, yes.
Okay. Because we have some diasporans who are not from Ghana,
and
but
they are here working.
Are here.
Okay.
So when did you first leave the shores of Ghana to pursue your career elsewhere?
Yeah, well, I finished KNUST. It used to be UST then, back in October of 1989.
Okay.
And I left Ghana in November of 1989.
You finished in October?
Yes.
And you left the next month?
Yes.
What program were you reading at the KNUST?
Well, I did geodetic engineering,
okay.
Which is pretty much surveying and mapping and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then I traveled to Germany to do some kind of advanced program, facing some combination of academic work like that. But I wasn't enthused with the plan. So when I was in Germany for only a year. Okay. And I went to the U.S. In September of 1990.
When you went to the U.S., you were still a Ghanaian?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And then why did you not do your first degree here in Ghana, but you chose to go to Germany?
No, I did my first degree here.
Yes, but after?
No, I did my first degree here in Ghana. Okay, let me give you the structure.
Okay.
I did my first degree 4 years. I went to Pope John, sixth form, New Odibiase, 5 years, O-level, KNUST, 4 years, and I got a degree in geodetic engineering, And then I traveled to Germany. Remember, at the time, you know, almost everybody was running to find a postgraduate or some kind of program outside the country. So I went to University of Dortmund for about a year. And I was in the process of finishing the language, and I got admission to go do my MBA in the US.
Okay.
I went to the US. I did MBA for 1 year. I just didn't like it. And then I moved on to Iowa State University to do a master's degree in civil engineering.
So you have 2 masters?
Yes, I have 2 masters, yes.
One is an MBA?
No. See, I have 2.5 masters. The MBA I didn't finish. So
okay.
When I went to Iowa State for 2 years, got a MS in civil engineering, and then moved on to Georgia Tech.
Okay.
Georgia Tech is in Atlanta, Georgia, and I got a second master's and a PhD in civil engineering. And so I finished my PhD in 1997.
All right. When you finished your PhD, were you with your family there, or you came back?
No, when I finished my PhD, just about a year before I finished my PhD, my wife joined me.
Okay.
So my wife joined me in September 1996. So actually, in my defense, she was in there.
All right.
My wife, I've got her to be part of my defense so that she can take care of those people who are going to mess me up. yeah. So she was. We didn't have a child then. So my first child was born in 1998, right. When I was a professor in university up there in somewhere in Chicago.
Okay, but why did you not decide to come back?
I came back.
You did?
After 2 years working at Bradley University, I came back to Ghana and set up an operation in Tema.
Okay.
But I'm a strong business advocate also. I like entrepreneurship. So I set up an operation. I wanted to move into manufacturing of some stuff, but it didn't work out. So I was here for 2 years, and the Ghana system is hard. Ghana is pretty hard, trying to find the right people, and the politics at times do not help. So I went back. So I went back to Clark Atlanta University, which is in Atlanta, Georgia, and taught there for almost 6 years. And then moved on to another university and on. But I came back to Ghana to spend 6.5 years with the Ghana Telecom University.
Oh.
Yeah, I was the vice president from December 2008 to July 2015.
Okay. So then when did you naturalize? In the US?
Oh, I did naturalize, I think in 2000, maybe 2004, 2005 or something like that.
But then you still kept coming back to Ghana?
Yeah, I'm also a dual citizen.
You are a dual citizen? Okay.
So I don't need a visa to come here.
Okay. Wow, congrats then.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, your latest arrival in Ghana was about 2 months ago.
Yes, 2 months ago, yes.
So what brought you to Ghana?
Well, since I left the shores of Ghana in August of 2015, my work has always revolved around trying to bring something to this country.
Right.
And so I've been looking at different universities to support. So I got this interesting idea. Well, actually, this started when I was here in Ghana in around 2009. We got a small grant from, I think it's the U.S. Higher Education something. We got $50,000 with MIT in Massachusetts to create a platform to support engineering education. We did that. We actually traveled to, I think we went to Nigeria one time. We went to OAU, Obafemi Awolowo University. I think that's the one in Ife, right?
Yes, that one.
Yeah, so we went there with the MIT folks because they came and spent some time with us here in Ghana. So it was a planning grant.
Okay.
So the whole idea was to create what we call the Education Commons, an engineering education commons, so that students in different parts of West Africa will be able to access information readily, similar to what the MIT has developed, the MIT Open Courseware stuff. So that didn't work. After the planning grant, we didn't get a grant. We wrote a very big, maybe it was maybe $2-3 million.
Huge.
Yeah, but we didn't get it.
Okay.
We lost that grant. So the project died.
Right.
And so since then, I've been advocating for such platform in Ghana. When I was the vice president, I met the rectors of all the polytechnics in Sunyani, and I came with this idea to put together a platform because the polytechnics take the same courses.
Okay.
And the NAPTEX, if you're doing electrical engineering, you all take the same courses across all the 10 polytechnics. And at times, you have a good teacher, a good lecturer in Accra Polytechnic, but you don't have one in Bogatanga. You have a very strong one in Bogatanga, but you don't have the equivalent one in Accra. So I think it's smart to be able to use the same person to teach across all the 10 platforms, or the 10 polytechnics. So I came with this concept, and we wrote a proposal to the USAID about 2 years ago. It wasn't funded. This had nothing to do with the Accra Technical University, but there's a professor there called Mevi. He was my student, when I was at GTUC. So, and I've been involved in African universities. We used to work with the University of Abomi Calavi in Benin. So I actually drove to Benin to get the student graduate. I had 4 of them when I was at GTUC. And, I brought him here to GTUC. So he's a pretty strong guy. So we wrote a proposal. We didn't get it.
Again?
Yeah, that one we didn't get. Look, I've written about 100 proposals, and I think maybe we've gotten about 20 of them.
That's a good number.
That's a pretty decent, 20% is not too bad to say. So once we lost that one, we started looking around. And then this particular summer, this summer, I saw the Carnegie Diaspora African Fellowship Program. And so I called her, maybe I said, look, I want to develop this in Ghana. Spending 2 months, 3 months with you in Ghana will give us the plan that we need to be able to really move this forward. Right. So I put the skeleton together. He and I working together, and we sent this, and it was funded by Carnegie. Wow. Yeah, and that is why I'm here.
Okay. We thank Carnegie for bringing him here.
Yeah, we thank
But let's go back to the Education Commons and the planning grants that you write.
Yes.
Who are the targets? I mean, the donors, if I should put it that way.
Oh, those who want to fund it?
Yes.
Well, initially, the planning grant came from the U.S. government.
Okay.
And so the planning grant was given to us with a plan to write a bigger proposal to expand that particular, because the planning grant, what it does is it allows you to plan for that particular, the target at the time was, I think it was U.S., I don't remember the name very well, but it was part of the U.S. Education.
Well, I asked the question because I was looking at the African governments, why they have not had you have not had a buy-in from the African governments or the ministries of education, if I should put it that way.
Well, I mean, you live here, so you probably should be able to tell me what percentage of the Ghana budget is on research. Okay. I guess it's 0. And that is sad, because look, we have strong young kids in this country. The kids we have in this country, as lazy as you may think they are smart, and they can advance this country very well, but we need to give them the tools. But we don't give them the tools.
Yeah, there is a Lagos plan of action where 1% of GDP should be dedicated to research and development.
Yeah.
But sadly, just a few African countries are able to contribute that 1%.
They need to look. For me, I don't support basic research for most areas in Africa. Because
Why?
I don't support basic research, and I didn't say research, I said basic research.
Yes.
Because the deal is this. If you go to the United States, there are several agencies like the National Science Foundation, the National Institute of Health, the USAID, the U.S. Forest Service, USDA. They spend so much money on research. Most of us Africans are involved in this high-level research. We have the results. America is not going to disagree with you pushing the results back to Africa. Let's take those results and localize it here. So the African government needs to put money somewhere, so that we can take those research and localize it.
But don't they have intellectual property rights on these research?
What intellectual property rights?
Who bears the cut?
Yeah, intellectual property right for what? I mean, look, this is Africa. Look, I'm a professor, right? So, like what I'm doing right now is taking an existing system, massive open online courses that somebody has developed. And then all I'm saying is, look, let's look at how this guy teach. Let's look at the material and modernize it a bit by way of local content and use it. If you're using it to teach, nobody will come after you.
Well, that is open.
Yes. So there are so many open out there.
Yes, but the research that you are talking about, some are not open.
Let me ask you this. See, if you want to create a car, right? If you want to build a brand new car, Do you need to start brand new research?
No.
Do you need to research to know whether a wheel will turn?
No.
You don't.
No.
All you need to do is for it, go buy a car. Look, if I have my own world, Ghana will stop the importation of a car that can be used as a taxi. Right now we have 0.8 liter engines running in Ghana. We have 1.0, 1.2, 1.1, 1.3. All I'll do as a Akufo-Addo is I'll stop the importation of those vehicles and get my engineers here to create those vehicles right there in 2 years.
Okay, but that is a Ghana scenario.
Yes.
Okay.
And every African country.
Yes.
And that is all. Look, Ransford, if you go to Korea, right, you will hardly see a non-Korean taxi. If you go to China, you will hardly see a Chinese taxi. Yeah.
Okay.
We are just living on other people's shoulders, even though we have the people. That is what I mean by take the existing research ideas and modernize it.
Okay. Now let's come back to academia.
Yes.
So you took the MOOCs,
yes,
which is existing, and you try to localize it in Ghana.
Yes.
For the technical universities.
Yes.
How successful has this been?
I think so far, and look, I will tell you, the professor there maybe has been pretty good, but I'm so excited with the new vice chancellor
of technical university.
Yes, I mean, he and I go a distance back because he was the pro vice chancellor, I was the vice president. So, and when I was at GTUC, and I think they still do, GTUC was being, I think they use the word affiliate. Yeah, was affiliated to KNUST. Right. And so our degree certification comes from, and so technically he was in charge. So he and I, you know, have several meetings. He's a pretty smart, nice guy. So I met with him last week, and he's extremely supportive about what we are trying to do. All what we are trying to do is simple. And let me just give you the gist of it. I have 50 students in Accra. I have 50 students in Bogatanga. I have 50 students in Ho. They are taking the same exact course, right? Okay. So let's say I have 500 students across the polytechnics, the technical universities. They don't have the textbooks. So here I have a textbook online that I can put on a platform for all the students to access on their cell phone. That is all I'm trying to do. Okay. Even without going into teaching of the material itself. All I want is, I want the student to see somebody's lecture notes. It was put together by Professor JP something. It's out there, it's available, it's free.
Okay, we will come to this classless universities.
Yes.
But let's go for a short break.
Sure.
And then we'll
no problem.
Okay. Thank you very much. Viewers, you are still tuning to AAU TV, and the program is Diaspora-Connect, where we are trying to identify the African diasporas who are giving back to Africa. And I'm talking to Professor Awuah Baffour. Stay tuned in, we are going for a short break.
International University, you are the torch that lights above. In you we see a future bright, and by you the nation gaineth from services pure. The emblem that you chose is the message, unique in great and soaring the giants. We such a height of success is true, but with such a size not task is surmountable. Equipped with knowledge, learn to ask, we go out of your gates with dignity. May your vision bright and knowledge so above.
Welcome back to Diaspora-Connect on AAU TV. Just before the break, we were talking about the massive open online courses that Professor is proposing. And Prof, let me ask you, will MOOCs assure quality?
Yes.
Prof, there are programs such as the sciences, the biomedical sciences. Will they still have to subscribe to MOOCs?
Yes. See, you know, MOOCs doesn't mean you cannot have hands-on. Okay. You know, I took a course from Coursera. You know, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Coursera. which is one of these consortiums of universities, delivering courses, MOOCs pretty much. The course was taught by, and this was, I took a course in astronomy, just for fun of it.
Okay.
Very computational stuff. And the professor was from Vanderbilt. And there were about 50,000 students in the course, in the class.
50,000?
Yes, across the globe.
Okay.
I have some Japanese classmates, some Chinese classmates. I think there was a Ghanaian student also in there. And I would sit on my bed in the evening from work. And this was asynchronous, so it wasn't real time.
Okay.
And I love the idea that this professor who loved astronomy so much may be in his morning gown, morning coat, and climb in his living room and use some system to show it the movement of the solar systems and some of the galaxy behavior, right? I can't go to Vanderbilt to take that course while I'm sitting here in Ghana. But he showed me the practical aspect of it. If I want to demonstrate, I can do it right here in Ghana.
Okay.
So I think we need to be careful not to think that MOOCs will remove hands-on. Because what normally you can do is you can actually set up hands-on in various centers that the student can go and get it, especially when universities come together to collaborate on courses. So if you live in Accra, right, and you want to take a course being taught by a professor in Georgia Tech or MIT, you may be able to go to University of Ghana or you may go to Accra Technical University to work with a professor there and do the lab that you need to get the hands-on experience that you need. So MOOCs is the key because, remember, you can really spend so much time, go back, review the material, go back, review the material. Look, I went to Tech, finished in 1989. From 85 to 89, I think the first 2 years I took a course, every engineering student took the analysis 1, 2, 3, and 4, which is nothing but calculus 1, 2, 3, and 4. And the guy who was teaching it, every student, I think we had maybe about 100 or 200 students at the time, engineering students. If you are 1 minute late, you will not get any place to sit. You even not get a place to stand. So how do you learn calculus standing in the window and you can't see the lecturer? So if the lecturer can record that and put that lecture notes on there for you, you may not even need to go to his class. Do you see that?
Well, that is trending. But, Prof, we have concerns.
Oh, yes. Well, I have concerns too. Because look, I'm a professor. When I give work to my students to do online, I don't expect them to turn around and call their friend who is a professor to do a test for them. But remember, once you get to this field, there are systems out there to check all these things nowadays. Okay. For instance, if you have concern in Ghana here, you can let a student go to the exam, handwritten exams. They go to school online, but when you want to test them, let them come and sit down and write the exam. Okay.
So now, how successful has your project been?
Well,
so
I think it's been pretty interesting. I don't want to talk about the success because it's a very, very, very new program, new project, and we've been doing this for just about 3 months now. Okay. Yes, and then when I came in, the students has also gone on vacation. Right. So, by the faculty, I did a little survey, and 100% of the faculty that we interviewed say they love it. They will use it. They will let their students use it. It will enhance the way they teach. Okay. So it's a blended strategy kind of? Well, yes. You see, right, remember, I'm not teaching online. The course, what we are doing right now, we are developing resources for the students. Okay. Do you know, right now, as we speak, there are students who do not have access to, I think even if they do now understand they want handouts. They want a 20-page handout for a 3-hour course in a semester. That's all what they want. And that is why our students come out and there's nothing in their head. So you need to push resources that they can access on their phones. Because students nowadays don't want to read, right? They don't want to, that's why they want 20-page handout. If you give them a textbook, they don't want to read it. But if you put it electronically, they will read it. How will you measure your success? Well, I think based on the evaluation that we get from the students. Okay. Yes, over time. Yes, I think, look, I want, for instance, if the average grade of a student in a class A is 45, and over time we think the students are using it and the average grade move to 55, 65, 75, then we can see that we are doing well.
Okay.
That is one measure we can use.
All right. So when you came to Ghana, have you been able to train so many, lecturers on these new methods that you are proposing?
Yes, I think we have, like I said earlier on before the show, we have 3 key objectives. So I had a training with, it wasn't a training, but it was a workshop in a way, talking about looking at how to write grants. So we had about 60 faculty involved, which I think went very well. I spent about 2 hours taking some of the faculty through this system. But remember, it is not me going to train them. The university has to take upon themselves to have dedicated staff who understand this very well and train the staff how to use the system whenever they decide to use.
Whenever they decide?
Yes, if they decide to use it.
So it means there are no structures after you leave?
No, see, remember, ATU doesn't have any of that. So remember, we are trying to get them to move in that direction. Accra University doesn't have that infrastructure. They are now even trying to set up an online system, an online office, center for teaching and learning, center for distance education. That is the whole idea of this project. So that we can get them to see that that is the future. Look, if you go to the United States now, some of the top MBA schools, University of Chicago and the rest, are facing off the face-to-face. So we can sit in Africa and just complain and talk about, before we realize we are just old, we are just too old. We need to contemplate and move beyond that, because some of us can bring whatever is going. See, we are part of the change. Yeah. And we want you to see the change as it happens right now. And for instance, what we are developing with ATU, I haven't seen in many places. And so I want ATU and then the technical universities and then across the whole Africa to, boom, we have it, even though we don't see it anywhere.
In your estimation, do our universities run as entrepreneurial universities?
What do you mean by that? I don't think I get that.
That universities that are able to churn out graduates fit for the world of work?
No. They don't.
They don't?
No.
Whose responsibility is it?
I think the system, a combination of the faculty and the teachers and the system itself. So, for instance, I'm going to, hopefully Accra Technical University will not come after me, because I asked that basic question when I came to Ghana. The Vice Chancellor has not come yet. So I asked the acting Vice Chancellor and said, you are now a technical university. I hope that you are not following the path of KNUST, which is an engineering institution, because you are not. And that's the interesting dichotomy here. At times, technical university, the degree you get from ATU is different from the degree you get from KNUST. They're 2 different degrees. Okay. One is more of a hands-on engineering education, even though it's a 4-year. The guy who gets a degree from KNUST should be the guy who designs and gives to the guy at ATU, and that person will implement with the technicians and the artisans and those people, right? But the people at ATU are now teaching them as if they are getting a degree from KNUST. Wow. That's a problem.
But is it a problem? No, Prof, no, let's go back. The trend of education is changing.
Yes.
We are in a global economy.
Yes.
Artificial intelligence is taking over jobs that men or human labor should do.
Yes.
Yes. So if technical universities are also doing what traditional universities like KNUST is doing, is it not the trend?
No, but KNUST isn't a trend. Look, I went to KNUST, right?
Your time.
Yeah.
But things have changed. They even teach law.
See, we forgot about law. Let's focus on engineering. KNUST was, let's focus on only engineering in KNUST. I still think KNUST should not be teaching the kind of engineering they are teaching now and then. I know it's a very provocative statement, but people are going to chew me, but that's a fact. I'm saying that because this is Ghana. MIT should be doing what KNUST is doing, and that is fair, because they have already developed all their infrastructure.
Don't they change curriculum? Don't they review curriculum? KNUST.
It's not about the review of the curriculum at all.
Because the aim is to get...
Yeah, they review the curriculum with, to look at the technology and stuff, but you go to KNUST and look at the kind of technology that they have. Go to the classrooms, you will see. The question is, when the students come out, can they perform the task? That's the key.
Some do.
I believe in the law of large numbers. See, we have so many engineers that have passed through our system. And not that the students are not good. The students, look, I'm one of them. The students are strong, but we don't teach them the way that they are supposed to be taught so that when they come out, they can function. And for KNUS engineers, it's not the fault of the student, it's not the fault of the faculty, it's the fault of the system because they are learning engineering.
What should they learn?
They should be learning engineering technology degrees.
And what's the difference?
The difference is engineering technology is more oriented towards hands-on, applied, being on the field, so that if you do a Bachelor of Science in Engineering Technology in Civil Engineering, you should be able to be on the road and look at roadway designs, asphalt pavement set up, the construction process, and all that stuff. But your average KNUST engineer can design maybe, but will not be in the field because they were not taught to do that. Because the curriculum is not designed like that. So they can review the curriculum all they want, but the curriculum for KNUST is for engineers who are going to graduate school and going to research institutions to innovate.
Are you bringing your colleagues to come and help?
Yes. That
Wow.
is the third objective of my project, was
Okay.
to be able to put together resource personnel who can work. But the bottom line is whether they will be allowed to help. If I tell you what I have in my head that I propose to various institutions and nobody seems to care, you'll be surprised.
But you need to go to the central coordinating body, which is the National Council for Tertiary Education, or the Ministry of
If they are
Education.
functioning well themselves. I mean, I don't know. Hopefully they are functioning very well themselves.
Yes, so if you follow the structure.
Structures do not work very well in Ghana. You and I know. I mean, so
But
look, it's a fact. The structures in our system has failed us over and over and over again.
And we are going to produce unproductive
We are
graduates.
producing unproductive graduates.
And you have the ideas to help us move on. So why don't we come together, bring your network, the Diaspora network.
I will bring them.
Thank you very much.
You know, I'll bring them. You know, before you close, let me say this. I brought 20 business people to Ghana in 2003. Honorable Alan Chirmatin was there. He and I brought them from the U.S. He was the Ghana ambassador to
the U.S.
And we went to the Ministry of Highways, I think transport at the time, because I'm a transportation engineer. So we went there and I made a simple proposal, and it was simple. I said, look, I can put together a team of professors and professionals out there who are Ghanaians with this expertise to come and help the system. And I made a mistake and mentioned the word bid. I said, we can sit down and look at the bid arrangements and who is the right person. And as soon as I mentioned the word bid, one guy raised his hand and said, we have the technical men on the ground. And that is why all our roads, if you understand road safety, you will not drive on Ghana roads.
Prof, there is a saying that a good conversation never ends.
Yes.
If we should continue, I think we will take
take
the
forever,
whole day.
yes.
Yes, but it's my wish that you work with people like Professor Kwesi Adakwa from KNUST, because he is here locally, and you bring the people from outside Africa so that you can work collaboratively together.
That is a plan.
Yes. And AAU TV is going to push the agenda for you.
Please do. We will support you.
Yes. So your final words to our audience?
Well, I think I'm very proud that AAU is doing this. And this is a platform for Africans in the diaspora to really come and support the building of our individual nations and the continent Africa. I went to my hometown and saw a Chinese guy in Chalewete walking from shop to shop collecting money on some raffle equipment that he has put there. And he is making, probably get 10,000 cedis, maybe equivalent of, maybe $2,000 from that little town and move on to another town. That is insanity for us. As black people, we sat down for us to be used and cheated for all these years, and we still cannot change. So my hope is this kind of thing, what we are doing, we'll be able to energize Africans in the diaspora to come down here, to go to Kenya, to go to Algeria, to go to Ivory Coast, to come to Ghana, and create that uniform body that we need to be changed. And I also hope that the people here, when we come, will take it serious. Like at least the seriousness I got from ATU.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Prof.
You're
It's
welcome.
been a pleasure talking to you. And God bless you. Have a safe journey back. But we are expecting you in a not too distant future.
I'll be back.
Okay.
I'll be back.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Travel
Bye.
safely.
Bye.
On that note, we've come to the end of Diaspora-Connect, and this episode has been very engaging and very exciting, and Professor Awuah Baffour is telling us to be change agents so that we can change Africa. Stay tuned in for other programs on AAU TV. Take care and bye.